Hey guys, how are you? Happy Tuesday. Welcome into another episode of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all socials at Sports Talk Matt. By now, you should know that refrain. You should also know that when we have a winning day, why not go to omahasteaks.com? Help the podcast out a little bit, right? Don't got to buy anything big. Just go get something there. Use the code JUICE, $89.99 for the burger perfection flight, but you don't have to spend that much. Just go get something smaller if you'd like. Just support the podcast if you can at omahasteaks.com. Promo code JUICE at checkout. All right, like I mentioned, 2-1 night last night. We got OKC. That was a whoop, boy, hello type of game. OKC, big come from behind victory. Big, plus 1.5 comes in there. Baseball, easy. I'm now 17-9 on baseball. What's that? Like, how am I up over 7 units in baseball? It's like literally saved me in 2024. Baseball. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Might need to focus on that a little bit here. I'm literally ripped on playing baseball. But, I've been smart, though. Like, we don't bet baseball on Sundays, right? So we're avoiding the bad stuff. We don't bet baseball on Wednesdays all that much, right? We're avoiding the two kind of bad days, and we're betting on good pitchers and betting on good trends. And, got another one for you here today coming up here on a Tuesday. We do not get hockey, right? And that cut into the profit margin because the biggest juice number we laid was Colorado minus 135. And they lost the game outright badly to the Dallas Stars. So, yeah, not great there. So, basically up 0.65 units. Not a big winning day, but a winning day. So, I'll take it any 2-1, no matter what the juice is. I'll take 2-1 every single day to start the week off here on a Monday. All right, some programming notes. I am headed to Chicago. All right, my other show, The Bostonian versus the Book, the hat that you're seeing right now. This is the hat that was designed for, it's the Bears model for the show. We're headed to Chicago. So I am going to tape and post the podcast on Wednesday early. My flight's at like 5:30 Pacific time. So I'll post the podcast at some point before the flight. I'm not exactly sure when, but I don't know. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, somewhere in that range. Pacific time, it's probably 5, 6 o'clock. And then Thursday, I'm doing the show, and then I'll do the podcast probably pretty late. So you get that later time on Thursday. So if you're a night owl, you're someone who normally gets it, you work overnight, you guys listen like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern. I don't know. Plan on the podcast being pretty late. And then Friday, it's going to be extremely late because I fly back. So I'm going to the Cub game on Friday to watch Paul Skeens pitch for the Pirates. His first start on the road. I'll be there. I think I've got like really crazy seats. The guy that is talking to us, I think we got like seats behind home plate. So I think we have like incredible seats at Wrigley. This is my second trip to Wrigley this year. I've been to Wrigley twice. Haven't been to Fenway yet. Go figure that one out. But going to the Cubs and the Pirates with my co-host Dave Sherapan and a couple other people. So looking forward to doing that. But I'm on a flight from Chicago back to Vegas at like 8:30 Central Time, meaning I'm not taking off until 6:30 Pacific Time. It's a 4-hour flight, 3.5-hour flight or so. So I'm not going to get back here to Vegas till like 10:30, 11. I'll tape the podcast before I go to bed. So that podcast is going to drop at like 1 a.m. Pacific time, 4 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so just to give you a heads up, we have fixed the issue at Spotify. That was Spotify transitioned over to a different type of system. So we're good. It posted the last 2 days, so we shouldn't have any problems with Spotify for the podcast. But just if you ever miss the pod, if it ever isn't on a platform, Apple, YouTube, Spotify, those are the three big ones, okay? By the numbers, and this podcast has now been up and running for this July will be our fourth birthday. Yeah, we'll turn 4th. Podcast will turn 4 on July 7th, 2020 was when the podcast began. So it would be July 7th, 2024. So the podcast will turn 4 years old this July. I think the numbers are like 75% of the audio listens come from Apple, 20% come from Spotify, and the other 5% come from other platforms. So if you're on Spotify and you ever can't see it, go to Apple and vice versa. And if you can't find either audio, it's always available on YouTube. And that, I can't imagine why the podcast would not be on YouTube. I'll have to go and look and see if I can pull the numbers on YouTube for overall listens, because that would be kind of fun to find that out. I actually don't know the number of listens or views, whatever, on YouTube. I do know the overall for audio since July 7th, 2020. It's now 13.7 million listens to the Daily Juice. 1,403 episodes. That's pretty amazing. Now, I wasn't doing all of it, right? I was off for 7 months. So it's not all me. But the vast majority of that is me. So 7 months is what, 30 weeks? So it's like 200 days. So like 1,200 of those episodes are me, and the other 200 was Sean. So, and he came in, I came back. You know, you guys know how that whole thing went down. But that's just the audio. The video, in like right now, we do about 4,000 views per night on YouTube, but in football, we do about 7,000 views a night. So like do the math on that, and I'm not going to do it here, but like on average, it's probably like 6,000 views a night on YouTube times, 365 times 4 years. Although we didn't start the video until 6 months. We started the video in January of 2021. So the pod had been 6 months old before we started the video on the podcast. So just some accounting just to give you guys an idea as to what is going to be happening over the next week. All right. 3 sports, 3 bets. 2-1 last night. Going to do it again. I like doing this, okay? Some of you guys like it, some of you guys don't, but it's been profitable, and I take my favorite bet in baseball, my favorite bet in hockey, and my favorite bet in the NBA. 2-1, we'll take that every time. Let's start with basketball, and let's start with Denver. Look, I don't know what I'm doing with the Knicks game, okay? I think the Pacers, over's the play in that game, but I don't know. I mean, the Knicks are so banged up that I think I'll probably be on the over in that game and probably feel pretty good about betting the over, but it's going down. The total is going down in that game. So it opened at 217. It's down to 215.5 in most books, 215 offshore. So, we're looking at unders coming in, which I understand why the under would come in because New York is so banged up. So, I lean towards Indiana plus 2.5, but MSG, Knicks might get some extra energy. Brunson may look great. It's a very hard game to bet. Game 5, 2-2, very hard game to bet. Minnesota in Denver is a little bit easier to bet. Why? Because Denver at home is a under machine. 27-19 to the under at home this year. The first 2 games of this series, the totals were 209.5 in both games. Both games went under. Game 1 went under by 4.5 points. Game 2 went under by 23.5 points. Both games won by the Timberwolves, by the way, 106-99 and 106-80. Now, do we expect a much better effort out of the Denver Nuggets? Of course we do. But last 2 games have gone over by 2 and by 17. And both those games were won by Denver. So you might go, well, Matt, if Denver wins the game, then doesn't the game go over? Potentially. Or maybe we revert back to Denver actually learning how to play defense at home and they actually can protect their home court like they've done for the most part for this year. And we go back to being an under team. Against the Western Conference this year, Denver was 38-23 to the under. Against the Western Conference from Minnesota, they were 28-1 to the over. But this Nuggets team defensively played much better, holding Minnesota to 90 and 107 points the last 2 games. I just think it's going to be another game to go under. 206, opened at 207. First move was to the under. I like the under. Under 206. Minnesota in Denver in Game 5 of their best-of-7 series. To hockey. This handicap is not that in-depth. 5-4, 4-3, 4-3. Total is 6.5. Juice to the over, minus 115. What are we going to bet? We're going to bet the over. In the regular season, it was 8-1, 4-3, 6-2, 3-1. The 4th game went under. You might go, Matt, it's the 4th game. This game's going to go under. Maybe, but I'm not betting the under. No way. The Canucks are up 2-1. So if the Oilers win the game, are the Oilers winning the game like 3-1? I don't know. I took the Oilers on the puck line at home. I thought that was a smart play. I don't mind puck line here either, but the Canucks are clearly scoring. And, offensively, Oilers have been good, not great. And they've got guys who are a little bit nicked up. Draisaitl's day-to-day, McDavid's day-to-day. I mean, everyone's day-to-day, really. But you got to give it up to Silvos because he's been tremendous. Archis Silvos has been the story. But he gave up 3 goals. Got the win, but he gave up 3 goals. He gave up 4 goals in game 2. He gave up 4 goals in game number 1. Yet they've won 2 of the 3 games. How many goals will he give up today? 3 or more. He gives up 3. If the Canucks don't score, they've scored 4, 3, and 5. It's just a principle play. You can say bet the under, Matt. I bet streaks over 6.5. Vancouver and Edmonton over 6.5 at -115. And to keep the West Coast betting trend going, and I'm really sorry for you East Coast people because you're going to be like, Matt, what are you doing? You're killing me. You're making me stay up really late to watch these games. Yeah, I am. Dodgers on the road. Every game this year against the Giants have gone over the 8 that the number is up right now for the Dodgers and the Giants. 6-4 last night in extra innings. Dodgers went over. The 3 games played in LA were 5-4, 5-4, 8-3, 9-9-11. Dodgers won all 4 games so far. They are 4-0. They will throw Gavin Stone, who is 3-1 with a 3.55 ERA, up against Keaton Wynn, who's 3-5 with a 5.63 ERA so far. I'm not saying he's awful, but the last 2 starts, 7 earned runs and 5 earned runs, not good. On the road at Colorado, on the road at Philadelphia, the Giants lost 14-3 and 9-1. Now again, on the road at home against Pittsburgh, 6 innings, 1 earned run, much better. Against the Mets, 6 innings, 1 earned run, much better. You might say, Matt, he's better pitcher at home. Okay. But the Dodgers are the Dodgers, and they just have an incredible lineup that can score at any point at any time. On the road this year, for Gavin Stone, only pitched 1 time on the road, went 7 innings, gave up 1 earned run, but the game went over because, well, the Dodgers scored 12 runs and scored 12, won the game 12-2. He's won 3 games that are in a row, 4 of 5 so far, but of his games pitched to take an 8, he's gone over 2 of the 5, 7 runs being scored in the other 2 games in a 3-1 win over Miami. We know Miami cannot score. 8, over 8. This is just, again, the bullpen for the Giants, the Dodgers lineup on the road. The Dodgers last year were just an absolute machine to the over, and I think we start seeing the Dodgers on the road scoring a bunch of runs. 6-4 last night. Now against the Padres, that would be different. They got shut out 4-0. They won 5-0, and they lost 2-1. But against the Diamondbacks, they won 8-0. They lost 4-3. They won 8-4. 12-2 against the Blue Jays, 4-2 and 3-1. I just think this offense here, given who's starting for the Giants, that there's a chance that the Dodgers put up a big number. If you just want to come in and bet the Dodgers, if you're more comfortable betting on the Dodgers to win the game or even the Dodgers on the run line, I don't hate that. It's just getting a little bit too juicy for my tastes. It's -170 on the money line. If you go on the run line, you're laying 1.5 runs. You're laying -115 on the run line. It's not horrible because the Dodgers are on the road, so I like betting the run line for teams on the road, but I think just bet the over, and you don't have to worry about, if they win the game 5-4, we're good. We don't get beat by a 5-4 win when the game goes over 9. 8 has a good push potential. Over 8, Dodgers and the Giants at -115. All right, 3 bets in 3 sports that worked yesterday for a 2-1 mark. Denver and Minnesota under 206. I do lean towards Denver -4.5 too, by the way, though. I think Denver wins, Denver covers, but under 206, I like it better. Over 6.5, Vancouver and Edmonton, -115, and over 8, Dodgers and the Giants, also at -115. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me across all socials at SportsTalk Matt every morning. Daily Juice Podcast, always being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com.